All right, everybody, welcome back. I'm going to try to keep today's episode as short as I can, but I'm going to do something that everyone's been asking for a lot, which is sorting the inventory. So what I want to do is actually implement just a search bar. And as you type, it will search the items and the remaining items, and you can just search by item name or ability name or stat effect name. So if we just go by those three things, then we can filter out items pretty good. So what we're going to do is come to the inventory component, and we're going to make a T array of FRPG inventory entry returns called get entries by string, and it'll take a const f string reference called string, and it'll be a U function with blueprint pure. Generate a definition. And this should be pretty straightforward. We're going to create a T array, local T array of FRPG inventory entries called matched entries. And then we're going to make a entry iterator. So for auto entry, it equals inventory list dot entries dot create iterator entry it plus plus entry it. And then we're going to say const f RPG inventory entry reference entry equals the dereferenced entry it. And now we're ready to go. Now that we have our entry, what we're going to say is if entry dot item name dot to string dot contains string, we could say matched entries dot add entry. Now here's the thing: is I want to search multiple. I want to do multiple searches, right? I want to search multiple things, but I don't want to add these things multiple times. So we're going to go over the next one. We'll say if entry dot effect package dot ability name dot to string dot contains string. But what I want to do is I want to say if not matched entries dot contains entry, then I want to matched entries dot add entry, right? But the thing is how it checks, how it compares by default is going to overlap entries. So we're still going to do this because how it matches the contains, right? If we go to the declaration or usages, it takes if this data, this element type, right? So if the dereferenced data is equal to the item, then we return true versus return false. But it uses the double equals operator. So if we come back into the inventory entry and we just define inside the inventory entry, we can say bool operator equals and then a const f RPG inventory entry reference called other, make that const, and then just define return other dot item ID is equal to item ID. So if we do that, when it runs this contains, all it's going to do is check the item IDs to make sure they're different. And then if they're different, then it'll say, oh, okay, then the item ID is not there. So then it'll do that, but it'll just constantly check by item ID. So then we could say for const f equipment stat effect group reference called stat effect, and we're going to loop through the entry dot effect package dot stat effects. We could say if the stat effect name dot to string dot contains string, if not matched entries contains entry, matched entries dot add entry. And then at the end of all this, then we return matched entries. We can go like this. So now it'll loop through, check the item name, check the ability name, and then check every single stat effect that's on it. And if any part of our string matches any of it, then it will match it and count it as a matched entry. So we're gonna do that, and then just make sure we mark this blueprint pure, right? Make sure we get entries by string, blueprint pure. Okay, that's fine. So now we're just gonna rebuild and get into the editor. Okay, so now that we're back in the editor, what we're gonna do is come to the inventory, into the widgets, and in the W inventory that's going to be here. First thing I wanna do is I wanna take the size box, and we're gonna want to move this up a little bit. So I'm gonna take this and make it like -450, and then the position X, I'm gonna add like 100 to it, maybe 150. Yeah, we'll do 150 to start here. So, and then inside this horizontal box right here, I want to make an editable text right here. And we're going to put this inside this horizontal box. And then I want a spacer between these two. And then I'll take this spacer and I'll make it like 50. And then this editable text, I will wrap with a size box. And the size box, the width override, I'll make 300. 250, yeah, 250 is fine. And then the editable text, I'll do search and then ... right? Search ... And then the justification will be here. That's fine. Color and opacity. I want the outline settings. I want 2 in an outline setting, just because I like a little bit of outline text. And then editable text, we'll call this search bar, and is variable is searched right here. So that's fine. We'll come into the graph and we'll scroll up right here. So then I'm going to come to the search bar, and then on the on text changed right here, because I want this to happen. The search bar has 2, on text changed and on text committed. So essentially you can wait until the player hits enter to commit the text, or you can just do it with every time the letters change. And I'm doing it with every time the letters change. I'm doing it here. So on text changed every time it's like that. So all I'm going to do is on text change. I'm going to take the inventory component right here, and I'm going to call get entries by string, and I will take the, I'll take the text, and then we can just auto convert it to string like that. That'll be easy. But then I'm going to make a function, and I'm going to say clear entries. We're just going to make a function that's going to clear entries, and it's going to take the item, the active item one, and it'll get the keys by typing in keys, and then we can just loop over these. For each loop we can do this, and then we can easily just say handle item removed, because we just need the item ID like that. And then when it's all done removing those, we can just call clear on this, and we'll clear it out. So we're going to clear the entries, and why we're going to do that is we'll clear these entries. Clear the entries first, and then we'll take this array, and because this is a pure function, remember pure functions get evaluated every single time they're called, and I want to loop on this array. So if you just take this comment, I don't know, but if you just take this and you say for each loop, and you go like this right off of a pure function, then this macro is not like a C++ for each loop. It doesn't understand what it's doing. Each time you for each loop, when it gets to the next array element, it will call get entries by string again, and then go through. So technically it will work, but every single element is calling get entries by string. So all you have to do to prevent that is just literally promote this to a variable, and then you can then get it off this side right here, and then now it's only calling this function one time, and then it's looping over the copy of it. So we're going to do that so we don't call that function a million times. And then we can just call this like searched entries, and from the searched entries. And then because we're clearing the entries and we're just handling that by saying the handle item removed, we could just do the exact opposite, and we have handle inventory item received, right? So we could just say handle inventory item received, and that will receive the inventory item. And then we can simply do that. And that should be that, because if I hit play, I come on this client, and here I am loaded up, and I hit this, got my inventory, and I've got all these items. We're gonna add all these. So now I'm just gonna type in my search bar, and I'm gonna type in M. And now everything with M, I could do like move speed. I could just do move, and now bronze is sword is found by move speed. But like that one's ice shards and that one's fireball. So if I come back and I do like ice, well, then it's showing all these wooden shields that have the plus ice shards skill ranks. Those all have ice shards. And then this broken mace has ice shards and skill ranks, and the sword has ice shards. So you could do that by ability or that, or you could just literally say I have mana, right? So if I say mana, then I have mana potion as well, and I could just do those. So this is a really quick episode, but I know this has been like a highly requested feature, so I hope you guys enjoy this one.